So here are 4 stages to boost your problem solving on any given business problem that's in front of you and that you want to solve. So the basic first stage is about the problem itself, the problem you want to solve. You have to start from a good problem, a problem about something to improve in a given situation, and a problem of the form what to do next. So where choices and actions are the solutions. That's the way we can improve situations, we can make situations more efficient or allowing to generate more value for customers. Those are all the improvements we are after. And so the problem is about what to do in order to achieve those improvements. And what to do is about choices and actions always. So that's the good way of framing a problem. And that's opposed to problems of the nature of how ready are we, who should do what kind of people do we need. Those are all more like derivative problems. Their solutions are not going to lead you towards the improvement ultimately. It's only solutions of the form of actions and choices that'll allow you to capture an improvement and realize a goal that is linked to an improvement in, be it efficiency or value. So it's important to always formulate the problem in terms of what to do next. And that can be doing something to a prospect in order to convince him to buy. It can be doing something to your product, which could make it more attractive to a larger share of potential customers. And it can also be what to do to your process, like making a process more efficient by reducing waste or something. So, what to do next problems are the problems that need to be solved in order to cause improvements. Then the second stage is really where you activate creativity. When you have formulated the problem, where you know what improvement you want to pursue, and you know the bottlenecks and constraints that prevent you from pursuing it, then it's time to activate creativity. And that's generating multiple possible solutions. So there's always many ways to attempt to fix a bottleneck or a constraint. There are many ways of realizing parts of goals and then together the entire goal. So it requires creativity to come up with new actions, new choices in order to fix the constraints and bottlenecks that prevent you from achieving the goal. This is counter to only relying on existing knowledge. Like if you're recycling the known practices and recipes, then you're not creating anything new. Then you're basically not solving a problem. You're just executing what is already known and what is deemed to be the proper solution again. But it's not a new solution. There's no creativity involved. And yet we need a lot of creativity. We need new solutions all the time because problems are inevitable and problems are always new. And so you can't use this kind of mechanical method of just recycling past knowledge, past practices. So that's creativity. And then once you have a couple of solutions, candidate solutions, you're going to try to make them into good explanation. And what is a good explanation? That's a solution that doesn't only contain the actions or the choices, but that also is saying how those actions and choices can fix a constraint such that a goal is reached. So you're making a kind of causal model explanation that is saying how, if we were to implement the actions and the choices, how those will affect the situation which is full of bottlenecks and constraints, such that the goal, the improvement from your problem is actually achieved. That's as opposed to the contrary, which is just like being satisfied with loose actions or loose goals that you just say are very important. So, but without an explanation, without saying why those actions, like concretely, why do they fix the constraints such that the goal is reached, is just like throwing actions and goals loosely onto the problem and saying that those are the right ones, that those are important, that those are the crucial ones, but without really understanding how they solve the problem. That's the stage of the good explanations. And then the last part is where the criticism and the critical thinking comes in. So you activate challenges and criticisms, which is basically taking your explanation and submitting it to criticisms. And those are arguments for why those explanations can still result in undesired consequences. So consequences that do not correspond to the goal, to the improvement that you want to achieve. And you will want to eliminate those undesired consequences, because any undesired consequence is the same as saying that the goal is not reached, because undesired consequences don't correspond with the goal. So you'll launch a series of criticisms and you'll eliminate the explanations that still have those undesired consequences that the criticisms are pointing out, until one of the explanations survives all the criticisms, and that will be the one that goes on to get implemented. The opposite of activating critical thinking is basically trying to be sure that you are right, pumping up your belief in your solution, saying that nothing can ever improve about the solution, that it's certainly true or it's the best we can ever find. And so you're defending your candidate solutions, and that's the contrary of criticizing it. And it's only criticisms that can eventually allow for adaptations and improved solutions. So that's what you want to avoid, is to try to be sure and increase your level of certainty in your one candidate solution. So if you apply these 4 stages, these 4 steps in any business problem that you want to solve, you'll experience that these things can be learned and practiced, and you'll definitely experience that the quality of your solutions, the way they solve your problems, is going up very dramatically. So good luck with all of that.